Hello once again. I'm George Eldey from Wines by Nature, and today we have Chef Tom Schaudel to discuss his selections for our Chef 6. Whereas don't trust me, don't trust spectator, trust the chef. Thank you, Tom, for coming in and going through our wines. And as we're walking around the stores, we're talking about different wines. You're saying, "Oh my God, I can only pick 6," which was great to hear because I'm glad I put you through it.
No, it was a great selection. It was hard to keep it to 6 wines. There's so many good picks here. You know, I've been lucky enough to probably taste 1,500 wines a year for the last 35 years, so I have a pretty good, library in my head about what I like and, what I think is good, and you have a tremendous selection.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Did that on purpose.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
So a lot of times we're talking about people and we're talking about food and wine pairings. Mm-hmm. What are your rules? Do you have rules? Do you break rules?
Yes and no. I mean, first and foremost, I think you should drink what you like, and forget about the white with fish, red with meat thing. If you really love a wine, there's nothing wrong with drinking it. On the other hand, there are some rules that make sense. I mean, sometimes what I'll do is if I have a really, let's say, buttery dish, I may do a Chardonnay with it, which would complement the buttery taste, or I may go the other way and do something really kind of that has a real citric note to it to cut through that butter. So there's a lot of different ways to approach it, I think. But first and foremost, drink what you like, and then you can play with those other rules as you see fit.
Yeah, we've done many food and wine dinners together.
Yes, we have.
And a lot of times, as I look at it, I go, "Huh," and then I go, "Trust the chef." And at the end of the meal, I'm like, "Dude, that worked."
Well, flavor is our business. That's what we do. I mean, you develop a palate over the years, and I know what I like, and it's not what everybody else likes. But the bottom line is, after this is all I've done for the last 50 years, so you kind of get a feel for what everybody else likes, and hopefully it works. And sometimes you do that maverick thing. You step out and go, "I'm going to just do something whacked and hope it goes over." And most of the times it does.
Right on. That's the fun part.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can you tell us the reasons for these 6?
Yeah, I can. First of all, I like to turn people on to different things or things they might not have tried. And I understand in the restaurant game, it's a little hard because, you're paying retail plus prices in a restaurant thing, and nobody wants to really go in there and, spend 50, 60, whatever amount of money on a bottle of wine they don't like. So I think people tend to stay safe when they go out. If you trust who you're talking to, whether it's a sommelier, chef, or whatever, it's kind of fun to be able to go, all right, like this is what my tastes are, and steer me in the direction. It's just like when I always tell people, I have a radio show on Sunday mornings, and I always tell people the best way to learn about wine is to take, whatever amount of money you're comfortable with, 100, 300, 500, 800, whatever, and go to a wine shop that you like and say, "Hey, pick me out a case of wine and mix it up and just let me, experience what's going on here." Because some people, they'll just go to Pinot Grigio route or the Merlot route or whatever, and it's just so many other grapes out there. So the reason, getting back to your question, that I pick these wines is one, I think they're fun. Two, I think it's a little educational for the average wine drinker that may not have had some of these varietals. Like Pomenac, Chenin Blanc, to me, is the best Chenin Blanc made in the United States. I haven't tasted one I like better. It has that clean, crisp kind of spiciness that you like. It's a great wine with oysters. If you're eating raw oysters or something like that, it's a fabulous wine with that. I think it's kind of like the American answer to Muscadet when it comes to oysters. But it has a grassiness to it and a spice that I just absolutely love. And I think, the Pomenac people, the Masouds, they do just a wonderful job with all of their wines. But this is special. This is one of those freaks out here. They're the only ones that grow it, And there's not a lot of Chenin Blanc grown in the United States. And I just think it's a wonderful wine, a wonderful experience for people, especially. And it's a great food wine.
Yeah.
That,
Where it grows together, it goes together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely true. You harvesting shellfish right out of the bay, and this is, grown right there. So I think this is a marvelous seafood wine and absolutely just killer with raw oysters.
Great.
Now, the second one, being that I'm a child of New York, I think that the Finger Lakes are doing incredible stuff with Riesling up there. And some reds too, but Riesling to me is the grape that really does the best up there. And I think that Ravines is a fabulous example of what they're capable of. It's a dry Riesling, which I tend to prefer. I think it's a better food wine than the sweet Rieslings are, or sweeter Rieslings are, I should say. And if you've never been up there, it's a great little spot to go. It's a 6-hour ride, stay overnight. There's a tremendous little wine trail they have up there. A lot of fun. But these people, for some reason, they've just hit it out of the park. There's a lot of good Rieslings up there, but I think this is just one of the best, and I think it's a tremendous food match.
Yeah, it had a great laser-like acidity
Yeah.
to it and vibrant, and you went, ooh.
Yeah, it gets a minerality to it. It screams at you from a lot of different angles, which is kind of cool, with a glass of wine like that. And it's not a high alcohol wine either. So what's good about it is you can drink 7 or 8 bottles on the front porch before you get to dinner, and then you can pair it with fish or something like that. It's always fun to do.
There's a saying I've heard.
Yeah. Everything in moderation except Riesling. Third wine here is an Algoté, which is a different grape that's grown in Burgundy, and everybody can. It's fun to go to Burgundy, and I think they make some of the best white wines in the world there, but they're a little pricey. This is a little less than that, and you can get that Burgundy experience at a different level, and also you can tell your friends I've had this grape before and I haven't. It's not Chardonnay, and it's not the usual thing that they do over there. So I also think it's a good food wine, and I always stress that because being a chef, I'm always interested in what pairs with food. I don't like Chardonnays to me, and Cabernets to me are great wines, but I think they should be enjoyed on their own. I think they sometimes get in the way of food. They can, you just do that and drink it and worship it, but I don't necessarily like them so much with food. But this has this little cutting edge to it. I think that's a little better suited for food pairing.
Yeah, and with the Algoté, in the past, they kind of left that edge to be very, very ragged.
Yeah.
Okay, here they pay attention to it. It's got really nice balanced acidity, texture. I was very, very surprised, especially for the value that it brought forward.
Well, that's it. I mean, you can drink Burgundy for half of what it would normally cost you, if not less, and what's better than drinking Burgundy?
Agreed.
In my book, nothing. All right, the next one we have here. This is kind of a favorite grape of mine, and I was really torn between this and Long Island because I think Cabernet Franc does really well here. And I think I've had this discussion with Kip Bedell years ago. I think that Cabernet Franc will eventually define the Long Island wine industry as Merlot is doing right now. It just grows wonderfully out here, but there's something about Chenans from France, from the Loire Valley, and they have a smokiness to them that I just absolutely love. Again, great food wine and good value down there. It's not going to cost you like a big Burgundy would cost you or a big Cabernet, Bordeaux wine would cost you. It's just fabulously drinking stuff. Has a little green edge to it, which is always fun, and I just love it. The reason I didn't pick a Long Island Cab Franc, which is I absolutely could have, there's so many good ones, is that just that there's, they had a 2,000-year head start on us, so there's a little more nuance going on some of the French ones than there is on the Long Island ones, as good as the Long Island ones are. I like the smokiness that they seem to get over there in France, and I prefer this one. I think this is really good.
Yeah, it's a very versatile, just like the next one, the Pinot Noir, kind of can touch a lot of different proteins.
Yeah, and to me, duck and Cabernet Franc is the ultimate, kind of, especially from Long Island, because like you said before, grows together, goes together. Long Island duck and Long Island Cab Franc seems to be the marriage that I always look for when I do the wine dinners.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now the next one is a little pricier. This is a Favely single vineyard Magueret, and it's Pinot Noir. And Pinot Noir is probably my favorite red grape by a half a point. But there's just something about Pinot when it's done right that a lot of people don't understand. I think a lot of people, cut their teeth on Pinots from California, whatever, and they're fine. They taste good. They're good wines. I'm not knocking them, but they're not Old World Pinot, which is earthy and cherry, and just they have so much nuance, and they're so pretty. And I look at the difference between the French Pinots and the American Pinots. Is like the American Pinots tend to be more like Pam Anderson, big up front, and, Daisy Dukes and a lot of juicy stuff going on, where, the Pinots from Burgundy are more like Elle Macpherson with a black cocktail dress and a little string of pearls, Both are a fun night out for sure, but for completely different reasons. And I think these are much better food wines. Again, I'm thinking of, what I'm going to pair it with. And the great part about Pinot is it's not only great with like poultry, duck, chicken, pork. It's a great turkey wine for Thanksgiving, and it's also good with oilier fish like salmon, tuna. Tuna and Pinot Noir is a great combination. So it's versatile as hell, and I've had this one several hundred times, and it's a great Pinot, and I think that people should just pop that cork and let it go.
Yeah, you as a musician, I was gonna say California Pinot Noir would be hard rock, and classical music would be the Pinot Noir from Bergen.
Yeah, totally. It's different. It's like almost like two different grapes, but and again, they're both a lot of fun. I enjoy them both, but my heart lies in Burgundy, and that's where I would pick. I mean, since this is my opportunity to pick, damn it, that's what I'm picking.
Right, and I like that you have to be a detective. You really got to pay attention to some of the notes that are coming through, and you taste it. And every time you go back to the glass, and they're just infinitely nuanced, and
I agree.
It's very intriguing that way to me.
The thing with old world Pinots to me is they have the primary flavors, then they have secondary and tertiary flavors, and again, if you air them out, you'll get those. You'll start off like things like that, and then oh my God, here comes that, and then the third time, wow, where the American Pinots are kind of one dimensional, as good as they are, they're just one dimensional, I think, and these aren't. There's a lot to be explored there.
Agreed.
And the last but not least here is the Tongue Cananao, and Cananao is Grenache. This one is grown, I think it's a fairly high elevation, if I'm not mistaken, in Sardinia.
Sardinia, northern coast, up with elevation, but still getting all the salty, briny breezes.
Yeah, it's to me, I'm a big Rhone guy, so I like Grenache, but there's something about the Cananaos that are different, and maybe it's the climate, maybe it's the saltiness or whatever. But this, I think, is one of probably the best value wines you have in the store. I think it's under $20, and it just drinks like a monster. It's just absolutely fabulous, and this will handle anything you want to throw at it. It can handle big steaks, it can handle a poivre, sauces and peppers, and I wouldn't go as far as to throw a bunch of Mexican chilies at it or anything silly like that. But bottom line is it's great food wine, and just a beast of a bottle of wine, and again, it's one of those things, if you kind of like let it out a little bit, kind of air it out a bit, it has a bunch of secondary notes going on. We serve this, and sometimes I actually serve it by the glass at the Jewel. It's just well received.
Oh, it's very giving, but it's still, there's the acidity, texture, tannins,
Absolutely, it's got it all.
That's food friendly, and still kind of keeps you going back to it.
Yeah, no, totally. It's great juice. Great juice.
Well, thank you for those descriptions and your choices. We have these packaged as a 6 bottle case. With the discount, comes from $160, comes down to $127 for all 6 bottles packaged together for the month of October. When Tom's not here hanging out buying wines, you can find him at Jewel Restaurant, aMano Allure, and also on the radio show Saturday mornings.
Sunday morning.
Sunday mornings.
WHLI 1100 AM.
Yeah, we played around a couple of those things. That was fun.
Yeah, 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, thank you again
Thank
for
you.
stopping in.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Great store. I'm really impressed with what you did here, and I think you're on the right track, and the selections are fabulous.
Well, thank you for saying.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.